Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another cast by HD Phoenix. I am joined by Benji StarCraft, and this is Dogsi's monthly tournament number 6. This is game 3 between aLtAaron and NEORedArchon. Now, the thing is both of these players have won one game each. The first game was actually a very quick match. aLtAaron was able to go for a 4-gate and quickly crush RedArchon because RedArchon was basically teching. In game 2, RedArchon decided not to tech at all. He stuck to MMM, Marine Marauder Medvac the entire game, you know, just having a tiny splash of Vikings in there just to deal with the Colossus, but the positioning was so amazing, and he was actually able to crush aLtAaron's army and push ahead. And I mean, Benji, what do you think about these matches so far?
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Aaron's playing well, but RedArchon's just playing better. Like in the first game, he 4-gated and won. I mean, that's okay. Yeah, he got kind of counted a bit there. But in the second game, the one that went to a macro game, RedArchon was losing early game fights and yet still had a huge army advantage. So his macro looks better. His army control in the decisive battle was just amazing. I've got to say, Aaron's got to step up a bit if he wants to beat RedArchon in a macro game here.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. Both these players are going to go open up very standard. Actually, no, not quite. This SCV is going to come out. We might see a Maka Rax, but that would be very uncharacteristic of RedArchon because I don't think I've ever seen RedArchon go for any kind of cheese. No, he's not going to go for cheese. He's going to drop down a gas, and actually this SCV is just being safe, just to scout over here. Make sure there's not going to be any kind of cheesy, you know, proxy cannons or anything. And yeah, it looks like we're going to, you know, it's going to be a pretty much the same game. The SimCity of Aaron is going to be exactly the same. He's probably going to drop his Cyber Core behind the mineral line, and yeah, I mean, both these players have their builds. They're not going to change it, and yeah, it's gonna go to a mid game.
They're very standard openings, obviously. We kind of have to wait until the probe and the SCV is scared out. You don't want to kind of go, oh, I'm going to go this build, because if a opposing player knows your early game build, there are quite a few counter builds in this game. You can just go, well, I'm just going to counter you perfectly. So you've got to be safe. You've got to hide as much as you can. And RedArchon's going to add on a Tech Lab. The probe actually does that see it. Doesn't quite see it there, so didn't quite get up far enough up the ramp to see that. So Tech Lab early, could see Marauders, could see a Reaper, not quite sure.
Well, actually, I really do like Reapers on this map because of there's so many open places, and there's lots of places that the Reaper can jump up. Actually, if you look at the Zaunaga Watchtower on the left, you can hold the Reaper there indefinitely, basically hopping back and forth. So a Zealot or a Stalker would be very hard to kill it, and you can just hop it up over this lip and basically see everything that you need to see inside the Protoss space. Because pretty much once your scouting SCV gets out, you really have no way as a Terran to scout besides scans, and of course scans are very expensive. Any way that you can work around it is going to save you lots and lots of money. And of course, Protoss is even in a worse boat, because once your probe leaves, you pretty much have no scouting information until you get an observer or like a Phoenix or something.
True. Now RedArchon has actually gone for a very quick concussive shell here, doing one Marine and one Marauder, moving him across the map here, possibly looking to pick off an early Stalker scout, and Aaron does actually have a Stalker on the field. If it goes and engages this Marauder, he's actually going to lose it, so hopefully he does pull that back, and I think he will. So good on him, just being extra safe there. A bit of just chicken around the map. Units running around each other, kind of going, yeah, I'm not going to touch you. It's like a probe on a tower and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think this is what we were talking about in the first game, where you can actually move out with a single pair of Marauders and one Marine, and you can actually drop a bunker at the bottom of the ramp, and you could actually contain the Protoss for a very long time, basically until they get a critical mass of units. Oh, actually he's going to sack his SCV. Very nice force field there by aLtAaron. I don't know if that was intentional by RedArchon, because right now there is not, actually never mind, there's going to be a second sentry. I was just about to say he might want to just basically bait the energy out from the first sentry and then push up there with a second group, but it doesn't look like it. It's going to. There we go. We are going to get a second force field, and another unit goes down. And yeah, I don't know.
He should be pretty safe from here. His gates are going up, so he's going to be able to warp in more sentries. I believe you get at least one. Getting 2, there you go. So just being safe. But he's going for 3 gate and 1 robo. I imagine for now the robo will just be to get observers out, just to see what's going on in RedArchon's base. If he's doing a 1 base sort of push, he kind of wants units. But if RedArchon is expanding, and he is, he's going to want to get his own expansion down all in.
Yeah, I mean, 3-gate into Robo does signal to me that he wants to go for some kind of early aggression, because basically if you're a Protoss and you're going 3-gate expand, you're going to have enough income from your 3 gateways to go for some kind of Oh, actually, never mind. Hold that thought. We are going to get a proxy pylon here. Gateways. A lot of stalkers are coming up. We do have 4 sentries being backed up at the end. And the thing is can this second bunker come up in time? It doesn't look like the second bunker is going to come up. Actually able to cancel in time by NEORedArchon. And right now, there's pretty much not many units for NEORedArchon to deal with. Actually, he's going to pull back. I'm going to disagree with this because NEORedArchon actually should get another production cycle of units out and then try to make a push, because essentially if Aaron wants to contain him, he can, because he's got 4 sentries. They're brimming with energy, and he can just...
And he has them at the bottom of the ramp now,
yeah.
So he's going to be able to hold him in his base if he does push out. So he's also expanding behind this as well. So his Nexus is going up. He just wants to sit in until that Nexus is up, until he feels safe, or until he feels like his opponent's going to push out with tanks or with a drop or something like that. Or just sit here until he pushes down the ramp and kill his entire army.
The tricky part is because you have so many sentries, and I'm sure looking on Aaron's cam, let's see, on Aaron's cam, yeah, he's going to warp in more zealots actually to do that, and he's just going to keep Eagle's eye on that ramp. And right now, until NEORedArchon either gets tanks or he gets medvacs, he's just completely stuck inside his base. This is actually a very, very effective contain by the Protoss, because there's just not that much options by the Terran. Yes, he could push down the ramp, but he's just going to get force field half his army and then just get picked off.
And exactly, and he is actually going for he's just like, oh my god, I must get siege tanks as fast as possible. He has got that factory up, he's getting a tank out now, should start siege, actually putting a force field in the ramp, which is odd, I don't know, might just be worried. But as soon as the siege tank pops out, it's going to force Aaron back, he can't sit there any longer. But his expansion's up, so he's going to get a nice lead from this.
Yeah, I'm not crazy sure about that. Aaron just did warp 3 zealots back in the main base, so he has a very, very good contain up. But looking on the production tab, he's only just started making probes. On the harvest account, they're actually dead even though Aaron had basically a much larger, he had 2 bases up. He really should be ahead, pumping out as many drones as he can. How many drones? As many probes as he can. But I don't know. It's like he has his contain, but he's not making use of it.
Yeah, true. It's going to come down for a little bit. Obviously, it's the chrono boost out a few probes before he can get a lead. But just consider where the orbital command is as well. That's a long distance away from that natural. So once he does break out, he's going to have to lift it up and move it all the way over there. He should actually probably lift it up, drop a mule, lift it up, actually move to the edge of his base. So it takes even less time, so he falls even less behind. But siege tech's about to finish. Once that siege tank sieges up, it's going to force Aaron to pull back, and we'll go into a pretty normal macro game from here, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I have to really worry about Aaron is right now there's a very, very... Wow, ouch. This siege tanks are actually shelling away at this thing, even throwing one last force field before he gets out, using the barracks to spot this army. And this contain is going to end very, very, very quickly. But looking at NEORedArchon's army, this is a very, very, very sizable army. Aaron has to be very careful of a counterattack, because essentially you contain the enemy so much, you spend all his money that should have been for economy. He spent it on army, so just have to be very, very, very careful.
Yeah, obviously. Right now, Aaron just has to pull back. If there's going to be a counterattack and he holds it, he will have a very nice lead, obviously having that base up. And NEORedArchon, actually, that is a very, very big army. Tank, Marauder, Marine. There is a Colossus out, though, and Colossus are pretty damn awesome units. So he's actually getting a second one out. If he gets Thermal Lance and a second Colossus out, I reckon he'll be pretty safe. It's going to come down a lot to the engagement. If he can get good force fields up, and obviously the arc, we'll have to wait and see here. Is NEORedArchon just going to win the game right now, or is he going to be held off?
Aaron just really wants to fight in these tiny, tiny little chokes. You can completely wall it off with 3 to 4. And actually, looking at that, the army is actually separated. A couple of the army is actually separated on the right side of this destructible rocks, and the tanks are setting up. Right now, the force fields are going to have to come down to be absolutely perfect. Does able to trap 5 of the units. He's pulling his zealots back, so they're not going to get sniped. The Colossus is going to clean up these units very, very quickly. And a small victory for the cost of a couple of force fields, and a second Colossus is up. Thermal Lance is just completed. And yeah, it's just going to come down.
I mean, if you can, the longer this takes, though, the more Colossus will come out. And once you get 4 or 5 Colossus, they're so much more effective. But it looks like he's just creeping forward with tanks, forcing the engagement. And here he goes. He's going to move in from the side. Force fields go down, trying to tie the Colossus down, but it's not going to quite get it, I don't think. Great force fields over from Aaron right now. It's just amazing to watch.
Wow, I mean, great micro on the Colossus. The Colossus is being focused down, but it doesn't matter. It's doing so much damage. Actually, the force is completely trapping all the Marines, and right now it's just decimation right now. The Colossus does live, And these tanks are completely out of position. Like, these two tanks at the back just didn't help the battle at all. And look at that, looking at the army size, 2,500 against Red Archon's freshly made 1,000 army. And I mean, against just pure bio, I don't think this is going to be enough. There's actually a lot of zealots in this army, so they're going to tank very, very well for the Colossus.
True. He's going to push forward here now. I don't know if this is the correct move. When you take that kind of position, you have a big army, I'm inclined to say just expand and force your opponent to make a bunch of units to counter. Obviously, Vikings are going to start coming down too. Might be an idea to add on some Phoenix as well. Get that third base up, get some Phoenix, have to counter the Vikings, and then just play a 3-base versus 2-base game, in which case you have a nice lead and you can just get ahead that way.
Yeah, I mean, NEORedArchon is actually, I think he just dodged a massive bullet, because right now, oh wow, what is this tank? Where is this tank going? He's like, dude, where's my car? Yeah, I parked it in the Protoss base and I completely forgot about it. And the thing is I mean, NEORedArchon is dropping his third base. I think I'm just going to come back to the point that he didn't really just dodge a bullet there, because with 2 Colossus, with I think at least 10 Zealots, it's going to be able to chew through this simple Terran army very, very quickly. But Aaron decides to play it safe. He's going to get his third base. And man, that is a lot of Zealots, man. We are looking at 20 Zealots, and they have charge. Ouch.
Definitely. I mean, when you get Colossus, they're obviously gas heavy, so Zealots complement them quite well. They also keep your opponent in a nice sort of line. They can't stim and run forward and snipe you. And obviously, units in the line die to Colossus because they just like do that nice little damage there. But actually, quite interesting, swapping the Templar tech. So I don't know, maybe we're worried about Vikings right now. Instead of going for Phoenix, which I think is actually pretty damn strong, going for Templar tech. He's going to have maybe a small weak period as he starts to get Storm. He's going to get the Amulet, and then he's going to get Templar. But I think that lead from early game will carry on here, and he should be okay to get Templar up.
I think it's really, really brilliant actually he's getting Templars, because I mean, the thing is, Colossus are really, really strong against Bio, but Storms are incredible as well. And the way Aaron is basically, well, he doesn't have any more sentries anymore. He has, I think, does he have a couple? Yeah, he has about 4 sentries hiding underneath those Colossus legs. But I mean, when you place your force fields in a nice arc, you can basically storm and decimate the Terran army. So even if the Terran was to go like basically mass Vikings, it doesn't matter, because the Storms are just going to take over anyway.
True. He hasn't actually gone that many Vikings though. In fact, he's only got 2 out at the moment. Got Medivacs. I'm not sure about the decision. Has he actually seen the Templar? He hasn't seen the Templar tech, so I don't know. Maybe just confident with his Marauder micro that he can take out those Colossus. I'm not sure.
Actually, I would like to see some Phoenixes out by Aaron. You know, just as you said, because Phoenixes also, I mean, they can pick up the siege tanks, so they're going to be able to do very, very well.
Yep.
But I really like the fact that he's getting these charge lots, because the charge lot is such a small unit. Once they basically jump on top of a Marine, when the siege tank hits the Zealot, the splash actually does full damage to every single Marine around the Zealot. So it's just like what Glade was telling me, why he runs his speedlings past Marines when when it's Marine tank. It's because when the siege tank strikes the Zergling, because the Zergling is such a small unit, actually the Marines beside it take damage. It's what he calls like a reverse Baneling. And it does, so you're actually able to kill quite a lot of Marines that way.
I'm looking at doing that with infested Terrans as well. The trouble is though, they see an infested Terran come out of the ground, they just scan it and kill it. So yeah. Whatever, but yeah, we're just getting to that point now. They're both taking their gold bases, so we're going to see that jump around the watchtower thing, try and engage correctly. There are tanks though for NEORedArchon this game, so it's going to be more defensive than he was last game. Last game he was pretty much pure bio, so we'll see how that takes effect in this game. Keeping him quite far back though. Yeah, not sure about that.
I mean, NEORedArchon has such a nice spread on his army. The only thing I really worry for him is because he's so bio heavy, and right now Aaron is sitting on, I believe, 6 high Templars, so he's going to basically get about 9 Storms off, because 3 of the other Templars were morphed out very, very early, and basically 9 Storms are going to be able to crush this army. Losing these units needlessly is actually really, really bad. Losing a couple of Marauders and Marines, and these charge slots are going to be able to charge on top of this. Actually going for the Planetary Fortress, we are going to see some Storms here, and no Storms, no, actually he's going to save the Storms and actually back out, preemptively storming there, but NEORedArchon doesn't take the bait and doesn't move forward, and very, very strange. I mean, I think Aaron had the advantage there. He's just playing super cautious.
He is. I mean, that's the thing. When you had this massive lead, you don't want to just throw it away by engaging poorly. It was a bit risky, obviously. He doesn't quite know where the tanks are. I don't think he has an observer around there. So he's just sort of, playing safe, pulling back, taking a fourth.
Okay, so we are going to see this engage. This is where he wants to engage. It is very, very wide open. It's going to come down. Oh, the Colossus are absolutely destroying the Marauders, and the Charge Lights are coming on top of the tanks. He's storming preemptively. The Bio is having forced to run into the Storms, and the Storms are just absolutely destroying this Bio. And right now, wow, there's so many Storms! And oh my goodness, this Colossus, I don't think he's lost a single Colossus yet. These Colossus are tearing, wow, it just instantly vaporized that Ghost, and wow, I mean, yes, this Planetary Fortress has cleared out all the Zealots, but holy crap, all those Colossus. Holy cow.
He's just playing so well. Like, early game, he had a nice lead. Instead of sort of pushing forward and trying to get the win straight away, he built on his lead. He got to this point now where he's just so far ahead, just being able to macro, tech up and that kind of stuff. They can just walk over and get, like, there's no chance on earth that RedArchon could have done anything to win that fight at all.
Yeah, I mean, it was essentially tier 3 against tier 1. In that battle, with a sprinkle of tanks, but because of the engage angle of Aaron's army, instantly the tanks had charge lots on top of them. The tanks instantly vaporized, and then it was just bio against like 7 Colossus. Not a fair fight.
Yeah, no, not at all. I mean, I like Aaron. Nice army comp. I mean, there were no Phoenixes, but then again, there were no Vikings out, so it really wasn't a use for that. I mentioned that earlier. She get it, but RedArchon's just like, no, I don't need Phoenix. I don't need Vikings. So yeah, nice work by him getting Storm and winning the game very, very strongly. Actually beating RedArchon in a macro game, which is something I mentioned at the start of the cast.
All right, so thanks, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to see you in Game 4. The score right now is Aaron 2, RedArchon 1. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next cast.